Hello everybody, my name is Colin, and in this video I'm going to answer the most frequently asked questions in my Facebook group and people who message me asking about CPA marketing. So I'm live in the Facebook group right now answering all these questions. If you are live in the Facebook group, I will answer the questions you might have. If I've sent you here because you've asked me a question which will be answered in this video, please have a look at the description where I've put every timing of the question, so you can just fast forward to the answer of your specific question. If you're watching this on YouTube because you're a subscriber, thank you for your support. All right, so let's have a look at what I wrote down. So it's almost 2 pages, and I will add on the questions which come from the group live. So if there's anything specific, it's a mix of affiliate marketing, CPA marketing, and just generally building a business online. Of the most frequently asked questions. So let's go over the 3-day rule first. A lot of questions about this. So in the CPA Marketing for Beginners group, I have a free training which consists of 3 steps. And the main rule is the 3-day rule. What happens is what you do is you create an ad set and you do that 3 times the payout, which means you have to get 3 conversions in a day to break even. And we let it run for 3 days for the data to stabilize. Usually what happens is if you do less than 3 times payout, you're not going to get enough data to make accurate decisions. Therefore, I like to work with 3 times payout or more if you have more budget. So for a beginner, I recommend to do 3 times the payout times 3 days, which would accumulate to 9 conversions over 3 days for it to break even. If you launch several ad sets in one campaign, anywhere from 1 to maybe 100, you want to optimize very quickly, meaning if it has 8 conversions, kill it. If it has 9 conversions, do you have more money? If yes, spend it another day to see what happens. If not, kill it. Just keep launching different interests, different angles, different images, different headlines until you get more than 9 conversions in 3 days, which means it is profitable, and then you can start the scaling process. That is a very easy explanation about the 3-day rule. So I hope that is clear for everybody, because I've been getting a ton of questions. So I also want to address this real quick. If you are banned from the group, you are not going to get back in. Why? Every person who joins the group will be tagged in a comment with the group rules. There's a very clear 0 tolerance policy that if you break any of the group rules, you're out. I do not have the time to check. Right now it's more than 1,000 people. Maybe later it will be 5,000, 10,000. I do not have the time, and I don't even want to make the time to be a babysitter. These are the rules. If you don't follow them, you're out. Don't message me. I will block you instantly because I just don't care. I care about people who follow the rules. All right, so the focus of the Facebook group is on paid traffic. Therefore, we have a post approval system, meaning if you submit a post, we'll go through it, me and the moderators, to see if it's good enough content, which is in line with the group rules. If you read the group rules, it will state what is required for your post to be approved. So don't make posts, why is my post not approved? Don't message me, why is my post not approved? It is very clear what needs to be in your post for it to be approved. We have about 60% spam in the group. So people who seem to get through the approval stage and then post spam, and therefore we have the pre-approval. So you guys have probably never seen spam in the group, but we delete about anywhere from 5 to 20 posts a day about Bitcoin, about farming, about selling accounts, all that kind of shit. So that's why we have the pre-approval system. And if your post doesn't get approved because it talks a lot about paid traffic, it talks about email marketing, not on the CPA basis, you know why? Because we want to focus on paid traffic. That's also in line with focusing on one offer type and focusing on one traffic source. If you are going to mix a blend of free and paid traffic, people won't take action and nothing will happen. So in this group, we focus on paid traffic and nothing else. All right, what do you do if a network has declined you? There is nothing to do. If you're going to buy accounts, all that stupid bullshit, it's not going to end up anywhere. They will ban you sooner or later anyway, because you cannot outsmart the system. Just take your loss, find a different network. There are probably more than 500 networks if you search all over the internet to apply to. Even if you're from countries like Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, like Morocco. There are tons and tons of networks which will accept you. Maybe not the biggest, but it can still be profitable. And as soon as you have built a bit of a reputation, the bigger networks will take your application again. All right, so I hope that's clear. Let's move on to how to optimize Facebook ads. We optimize Facebook ads according to the 3-day rule. So what you can do is you can do different things. You can do a vertical scale or a horizontal scale. Let's just talk about this real quick. So what I like to do is a straight scale, meaning increase the budget of the ad set immediately. So for instance, it's at 3 times payout, and let's say that's $9. So the payout is $3. And I want to increase it to maybe $20 or $50 a day. What happens is the thing you have to take into consideration is you're going to reset the learning phase. Facebook need to re-optimize the data. So this means you might get a higher cost per click or a lower cost per click. Facebook is still finding the right audience to get the lowest cost per click for you. That is very important. If you don't want to reset the learning phase, use automated rules. What happens with an automated rule? You can just select the rules in Facebook Ad Manager, and you can basically tell them, if this happens, then do this. So what I would usually do in that case, if midnight hits, so based on a time, increase budget by 20%. Do not scale more than 20% because it could happen that it starts a new learning phase. In this scenario, automated rules will not reset the learning phase. That's why it's super powerful. And also you don't have to do anything. You just have to control the spend, which is obviously also important. You can also duplicate ad sets, duplicate campaigns, but I recommend to duplicate on the ad set level. What happens is the learning phase of the original ad, which we call the control, stays the same. And the variant, which is the duplicate ad, will start a new learning phase because it will be entered in Ads Manager as a complete new ad set. So that's basically how we scale the Facebook ads, how we optimize. I just did it the wrong way. Optimization is based on data. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the CPM, the cost per 1,000 impressions, which is influenced by the click-through rate. So basically everything is influenced by the click-through rate. The more people click, the more relative your ad is to your audience, the lower your cost per 1,000 impressions will be, which automatically means the lower your cost per click will be. It's all related to one another. It's like one big web of data. So that's what you need to understand, which is very, very important. The main metric is always click-through rate link clicks, not click-through rate all. All means all the clicks which were done on your ad. So basically watch the image from close by, put a comment, put a like, maybe tap for a scroll. That is irrelevant. We want to know click-through rate link clicks because you want to take people to your destination page, landing page of Facebook, which is very important. So the higher your CTR, usually the lower your CPM, the lower your CPC. And if you can send more traffic for the same price, automatically EPC goes up. Your earnings per click, and it means you're making more money. And that's all we want basically, right? So that is very important. Let's have a look. The best geo for beginners. Often asked, what I usually say is stay away from Australia and United States because most people target the English-speaking countries. It is easy because you do not have to translate. So what you could pick is United Kingdom, relatively low CPMs when it comes to sweepstakes, and that is what we promote in the 3-day training, 3-step training actually. And you can also target New Zealand, which is an interesting geo. However, New Zealand obviously doesn't work on scale because it does not a big of a country. However, you can probably still make 5 to 6 figures a month running in New Zealand. So don't be hesitant on that. Lately, I've been experiencing with getting some experience with Singapore myself, which you can also just use plain English, which works really well. So that might also be interesting for you guys. So the best offers to promote for beginners. If you look at sweepstakes, basically anything can work. You have to optimize according to your own experience. So if you're a gamer, pick gaming offers. If you're a girl, you like makeup, use a makeup offer, a beauty offer. what is very important is don't pick anything you don't know anything about, because you need to angle it and you need to target it. Those are two factors for success in CPA marketing. If you cannot do that, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. Let me grab a quick drink of my water. And that is obviously mucho importante. All right, so a question lately I've been getting like 3 times a day is people who use the free bridge page template, which I provide in the Facebook group training. People ask how to remove the place pixel here in ClickFunnels in the funnel template I offer. Well, what you do is you open the funnel. So that means you don't open the funnel builder, so you can build the funnel. You're actually going where you can also get the URL of the funnel. You go to upper right settings of the funnel, then you scroll down and it says header tag, header tracking code, and body tracking code. And the body tracking code, I think, has the text place Facebook pixel here. Why did I put that there? Because then you can put your Facebook pixel in there and Facebook can optimize the data. Track the landing page views, which is obviously important for the 3-step training. All right, let me just see if there's any questions so far. Everything clear so far, guys? Please give me a comment if everything is clear. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, but I would like to hear if all of these things are clear, because I'm going through them relatively fast. And if something is not clear, I have the opportunity to elaborate on it. But if you guys don't say anything, I assume that everything is clear. See, we have a lot of people watching, so if everything is clear, that would make me happy. I guess so. Yeah, Ran is saying it's clear, so cool. Let's go on. So, optimize the cash flow. One of the most important things. What will happen is as soon as you found your first success with CPA marketing, you will run into cash flow issues. Why? I will tell you why. Let me just type it out here. Let me move my microphone a little bit. All right, so you go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And then you have a new cycle, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what happens is, these days, you're all going to spend money, right? Depending on the network, they are going to pay you what is called net X. So, and here it's either monthly or weekly. So this means monthly net, usually that would be 30. So it means after the month ends, so let's say right now it's February. After February ends, it will take 30 days before you have the money, net 30. Which means the 1st of February, March, April. The 1st of April you will have the money. Preferably, if you have cash flow issues, you work with networks who pay weekly, which almost all of the smaller networks do. Common is weekly net 7. That's probably the most common. And then you have weekly net, 4 usually, and 2. Max Bounty is the network which pays net 3, I think. They pay on Wednesday. Oh, hang on. Yeah, like that, this one. Ooh. So this one, yeah. So what happens is you spend all these days, right? So let's say you spend $10 a day. 10 a day. In this scenario, it means you would spend 70, no, even more, right? So let's say we work with Max Bounty, yeah? We get paid on Wednesday. So we have to calculate Wednesday as well, because you don't know when the money comes in. If you're using something which is an easy payment processor, you can expect the money to be there on Wednesday. All right, hang on 1 second. Greg has a question related to earlier. Singapore has 5 official languages. No, you just go with what is easy. You pick Singapore because those people often speak English. Like this people in the Netherlands, they have like Dutch, they all speak English. They have like a little bit of other weird languages which are like from the countryside, but you can either target Dutch or English because most people will understand that. All right, back to the cash flow game. So this is one of the most important things that a lot of people don't understand, and that's why they will get issues. So you need to spend $70, $100 before you get your first paycheck. This paycheck here, so the Wednesday, and let's say you have 100% ROI, yeah, will be $140 because it only goes over this week, right? It doesn't at these three. These three are for the next week's payout. So cash flow is very important. You should always negotiate the fasted payout if that's possible, which is very important. So once you get a little bit more advanced, I think right now I'm about $500,000, which is insane. So I hope before April I can make it like 600-700K. But the first time actually last week, a network offered me to prepay me leads. So they paid me $10,000 for leads I haven't even delivered yet, just to help out with my weekly cash flow. Because right now I'm spending anywhere from 5 to 6K a day, and I'm making about 10K a day. So sometimes I spend like 3K, I make 7K, like that. But we are moving into the big numbers, and it was a very fortunate experience for me that the network itself offered me to prepay me 10K in leads, which I'm very grateful for because it's helping me out a lot. So what happens is, let me just elaborate on that. I spend Monday to Sunday, the network pays me on Thursday. So what I do is I scale the budget Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that is for next week's payout and it's after I just received money. So those are my high days. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are usually my low days because I'm out of cash flow and I have to wait on Thursday for the cash. So let's say I spend 3 to 4K a day on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It will also mean that my revenue is really high on those days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my spend is quite low. My revenue is also quite low. The network asked me to stabilize the data. They want a consistent flow of traffic. And I told them I cannot do that. I have to optimize my cash flow. And this is the way for me. So they told me, how much do you need a day for it to stabilize? And I told them, like, if you can give me 2.5K in euros a day, I could spend 3.5K, which is the minimum I spend on the other days. So it would quite be stable. And they told me, no problem, let's do that. So that was very interesting. And I think a very good opportunity. I made about 100K with them in the last 25 days. So I've proven myself a lot, and that's something you have to earn their trust, right? So later on, we'll talk about relationships, and I will go into depth on that. All right, Pal has a question. Max bounty pays after you reach $100, monthly net 15. I think after the first payment, so for the first payment, max bounty pays a monthly net 15, correct? And after the first payment, they pay weekly net 3, as long as you hit the threshold. But I think the threshold is only like $150. At 3D pays 500, then they pay weekly net 7. If you make 1,000, they pay weekly net 5. If you make 10,000 a week, they pay weekly net 2, which is insanely fast. And what I want you to understand for that, what happens is, why do they need that much time? They need to sell the leads and they need to check the quality of the leads. So in the case, if you would be paid like net 2 or even net 1, they pay you before they have received the money from the offer owner, which is obviously super risky. And they only do that with high volume, which also usually means highly experienced affiliates, which they can count on and which they can deliver quality traffic. The affiliates who can deliver quality traffic. So that's very important. Like those are things people oftentimes don't look at, but that's like the foundation of business, which you have to take into consideration when building out your own cash flow. Like, why do your partners not want to pay faster? You can also ask them and they will elaborate on it. Ooh. Okay, let's go on. So the optimization of cash flow, I made a separate video about it as well. It's one of the most difficult things, and we are 10 months after I started with CPA. I think, I haven't looked at it specifically, but I think I have done about $500,000 in revenue right now, and it is still a difficulty for me to optimize the cash flow, which is interesting, but you continuously struggle with cash because money comes in because of the profit, but you have to pay tax, you have to pay salary, you have business expenses. Like I bought this microphone, I bought this camera, I bought some things for my office. I even bought like a whole closet to put like tax files in and stuff. Altogether, it was maybe like $3,000, which is money which could have been optimized for the cash flow. So it's important to think about this cash flow every single day. It's one of the business foundations, because the worst thing you can have is have a winning campaign and not enough money to scale it because you didn't think about the cash flow. All right, so the best network. Yeah, we're coming to that. It's all the way at the bottom here. Which network is the best? So first of all, we're going to have to focus on one traffic source. So what I see a lot of people do, and let me just tell you one thing. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's for sure. However, I can guarantee you 100% that if you're going to do what most of you are doing, you will never reach success, or the 1% which do will take 10 to 25 years to accomplish it. You need to focus on one thing. The shiny object syndrome is real and it will tear apart your motivation, your business, your income, everything. You need to focus on one offer type, one traffic source. So don't go around, let's run Nutra on Max Bounty, let's run sports on ClickBank, and let's run sweepstakes on Peerfly. Your chances of success are close to zero. Why? Because you have no experience. To get a sweepstake offer profitable might not take that much effort. But to scale it to 6 figures takes a lot of effort, a lot of experience. If you make your first $10, that's great. If you make your first $100, that's great. If you make your first $10,000, that's great. But that is not money you can live off. If I give you $100,000 right now, 1 year later, the money is gone. Because we live, we have expenses, we want to consume things. You need to master one thing before moving on to the next. If you engrave that deep in your mind, in your vision, your chances of success are highly increased. Let me just give you another example, because this is my own vision. You don't have to agree with it at all. It's just my opinion. Yesterday, I saw a meme I love. It said, why do I work 70 hours a week? Because if you look at my eyes, I never used to have like the thing under my eyes, but I am not physically tired, I'm mentally tired. I work 10 hours a day, every single day for the last 2 years and 2 months, which is all the weekends, all the holidays. Some days when you're like not feeling optimal, you might do less, other days you might do more. It is very important that you have to establish yourself in line with your vision. If your vision is to make $1 million in 10 years, you can take it easy. But if your vision is to make $10 million in a year within the next 5 years, you better get to work. And working more is not always leading to profitability, leading to more productivity, leading more to more efficiency. No. However, it increases the odds of success. If you work more, you can learn more, you can do more. However, if it's only 10% more productive, you are having 30 hours extra of 10%, killing the competition, acquiring success way faster, which others never will. And yeah, you cannot go out. Yeah, you cannot go to dinner. Yeah, you cannot visit your friend. Yeah, you cannot watch Netflix. Yeah, you cannot do whatever your hobby is. However, if you work 10 hours a day, there's probably still 6 hours left where you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. So if Netflix is that important for you, you can watch 2 hours of Netflix. I wouldn't recommend it, but what I like to do is I like to work out. So I have 2 hours in my day. It's like more than 3 hours. It's 3 hours because I have to prepare, get to the gym, shower afterwards. It's like a block of 3 hours, usually like 9:30 a.m. to 12. So it's a little bit less than, it's 2.5 hours, which I reserve for working out. And before that, I work. After that, I work. Working doesn't always have to mean doing stuff. You can also think. Thinking is also working. If you're an entrepreneur, the work never stops. There's always another thing to do. And one thing I want to tell you right now is people often ask me, you've been working 2 years and 2 months for 10 hours a day on average. Don't you get burned out? I think you can never get burned out if you're led by a vision of success. If you know what you want and you know what you have to do and you're doing it, this doesn't feel like work. This feels like living my best life every single day, making it happen, growing, learning, failing, success on every single corner I go. And the more I fail, the more I learn, the more I grow, the more money I have. And the goal is not always money. However, you need to understand that if you are getting tired of doing CPA every single day, it might not be for you. Like, there's so many other things you could do. However, if you are not tired, or if you are disciplining yourself a little bit more, going through the rough stuff, because what I always, like, I had a call 2 weeks ago with my mentor, and he told me, like, I'm having great success right now, but the beginning of January, I was not even doing $500 a day. Right now, we're doing between $7,500 to $10,000 a day. Things can change fast. You don't have any highs if there are no lows, which is so important. Like, people are like, oh, I ran this campaign, it's not profitable. Like, bitch, you only ran one campaign. I ran thousands of campaigns and hundreds of them were not profitable. I always tell you, just to mix it in a little bit, right? Launch 10 campaigns. 8 of them are not profitable. You cut them after the 3-day rule. The 2 of them which are profitable, you scale them and they make up for the loss within the next 5 days. So it's been 1 week and you're already profitable, which is insane. You only have to follow the 3-day rule. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You can't just hire somebody to do everything. But if you don't have money, you have to invest time. You have to do it yourself, which is important. So Diwakar is asking, do you only do sweepstakes for 10 hours? No. I spend about 1 hour to 1.5 hours per day launching campaigns. All the other time, I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the group. I'm thinking about making products. I'm thinking about my YouTube channel. I'm making YouTube videos. I'm replying to messages. I'm replying to comments. I'm thinking on how to scale the company. I'm doing bookkeeping. I'm doing tax-related stuff. I'm thinking of quarterly figures. I'm thinking of weekly figures. I'm thinking of daily figures. Every single moment of my day, I'm thinking about this business. I'm doing business. And I'm not just launching campaigns. Like right now, I have one person, which is actually a moderator in this group, assisting me with launching campaigns. My goal is to hire him full-time to assist me and build an actual business, which is here. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Whew. Rant game strong. Let me just sip some water. Might be actually cool to add. Yesterday, I had a birthday party. I went there at 9 and left at 12. I was only there for 3 hours. Everybody stayed probably until like 3 o'clock, went to the club, did their thing. But I was up today at 8 a.m., which is obviously later than I usually wake up. But I was working. I had a dry throat. I still feel like we had some drinks yesterday, so I don't usually drink. So I'm not like hungover, but I don't feel as fit as I usually do. And it infects my work. So then you have to make the decision, what do I like? Do I like to show my face for 3 hours, have drinks, and then leave? And what I've decided today is that next time I will go there, I will just not drink. I will just have some Coke and then maybe some lemonade or whatever and go home after 3 hours. So I am with my presence there. I show my support for the birthday and stuff, but I just don't drink. And you have to make decisions there. So listen to one authority figure, which is very important. So in the group, you would say the main authority figure is me. What happens if you don't have to listen to me? That first of all, you can listen to anybody you want. So you don't have to follow my advice. What I recommend you do is you follow one person's advice. Why? Because everybody has their own opinion. So if you're going to follow 10 people, they will all tell you something else. How to do a different flow, how to optimize the data differently, which is overwhelming. You will get like information overload, which will hurt your business in the long term. What I usually do is I listen to one person, my mentor, what he tells me, what he thinks, and I have 2 other people I chat with almost on a daily basis. I want to know what they think, but I know they're not in the CPA marketing business, so their opinion is of less value. They're great persons, they're all equally in person, but the business value of their opinions are weighed differently. Based on those 3 opinions, I make my own assumption, I make my own, decision. I make my own decision. However, the 2 people who don't do CPA, their opinion might weigh for 0.5, and the person who does CPA and has a very successful business might weigh for 1. And that's the way I make decisions purely because I know they have the same mindset, the same trigger and experience. So if you follow a person who is teaching you how to build a CPA business, but doesn't have a 6-figure business himself, it's bullshit. Like, there's so many fake gurus out there right now trying to sell you shit to make an easy profit, because on courses, the profit is like 100%. They only have to invest time. And I will tell you how to build a social media agency, although I only have 2 clients myself and it's not bringing enough money, so I'm doing this to make more money. And yeah, I just only follow people who have results, which really is important for me. All right, so Diwakar has a question. What do you do, or you say to your friends, if your friends tell you, yeah, you work all day, why don't you spend time with us, hanging out, blah, blah, blah? Well, that's a very difficult decision. So I read a lot of books. I didn't used to, but when I started having some success with my business, I read about 1 book per week. And one of the most famous sayings is, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I cannot agree with that more than that saying. And if you are surrounding with losers, you're probably a loser. If you surround yourself with smokers, you're probably going to smoke. If you surround yourself with alcoholics, you're probably going to become an alcoholic. Over time, we are human beings. We are social beings. We are influenced by our environment, which is normal. It's not a bad thing. However, if you don't want to hang out, you got to be real. You just got to be honest. Just tell them, like, I have different priorities now. Like, I like to see you guys maybe once a month, because then I feel time for you guys. Like, though they don't tell you what to do and when to do it, I control everything because I am working towards a goal. And the people who usually tell those things, they don't have goals. They just go around living for the weekend, and we are dream chasers. So it's completely different. It's very difficult. It's probably one of the hardest things. Mindset triggers. And I read a book not too long ago which talked about the loneliness of an entrepreneur. Nobody really understands you. Hang on, what's going on? Oh, my phone is vibrating. I was like, what's that? Hang on, let me just hang that person up. Keeps calling. All right, cool. So the loneliness of an entrepreneur is very serious because you will always have the feeling that people don't understand what you mean. Like, I came from a job where I earned I earned 1,600 euros a month. And now I earn 1,600 euros a day. Not even a year later, like 6 months later, because I quit my job in October, right? Which is very hard for people to understand. It's not jealousy. Well, not always, at least. That's what usually people think, like, oh, they're just jealous. It's not that. It's just they cannot cope with the information. It's difficult to believe. And if you talk about your vision, if you talk about your ideas, if I talk about my business ideas, I only value the opinion of other entrepreneurs because they know what it is I'm trying to do. They share the same feelings, they share the same vision, which I think is very important because normal people, quote unquote, they don't have that. So Diwakar's asking of that book. I would have to look it up. I have about like 50 books here and I don't know it exactly right now, but it's over there on the pile. I will look it up later and post it in the group. All right, so this is pretty clear, I think. Cash flow is king. We talked about that as well. All right, so what happens with paid traffic is that money makes money. You don't need money to make money online. That's a myth. However, more money means growth. Growth costs money. That's why cash flow is so important, because if you spend $1 and you make $1.30, you're basically printing money. Every time you put a bill in, you get 30 cents extra out. And you need money to make more money, that sense. And that's the continuous cash flow issue we spoke about earlier. So that's quite difficult. All right, so we're having a really good question in the group right now, so I'll just type that here. And I want to stress that really, because I've been waiting for somebody to ask this question, because I actually didn't add it to the list. So let me just say, Mohammed is asking, what is the average EPC for a single opt-in offer? All right, so I've probably typed this answer about 50 times right now in the Facebook group within the last 2 months. There is no average EPC. Why? Because it depends on your targeting, the country, and the offer. 3 very important variables. If you have those variables, I can give you an estimate. Why is it an estimate? Because it depends on your skills as a marketer. It depends on your images, it depends on your copy, it depends on your targeting. All in all, there are 6, maybe even 10 variables which will influence your EPC in the end, if not the offer itself. So it is nobody is able to tell you an EPC. Everybody can tell you an estimated EPC unless they look at the network EPC. But that's a very good question and a very wrong question at the same time. So I can only give you an estimate if I have experience in the geo, the targeting, and the offer. So that is important. And then I would need to see, like, the more data you have, the more accurate of an assumption someone can make. All right, let's go on. What is the minimal investment for CPA? I usually say $1,000, 1,000 US dollars, because you will need to spend money to make money. You need to learn, you need to make mistakes. What you usually see is people lose about $800 to $900, and from that remaining $100, they make $1 million. I'm serious, I'm not even joking. That's usually how it goes. And that's why it's very frustrating if people post in the group or anywhere online, I lost $10. It's not a loss, it's an investment, because you need the data to know where you have to go, what you have to do to get profitable, If you spend $100 and you have not made money, then that's not a problem. I think before I reached my success in CPA, I did dropshipping, I did all kinds of stuff. I spent about 12,000 euros, which is about $16,000, before I ever made a good profit. I always had the dream, I always had the vision, I just didn't know how to execute it. And with the 3-day plan, you do. You only have to copy paste it. So if you cannot follow that, you're just a lazy fuck. Like, you're doubting the process. And if you're doubting somebody who's teaching you for free, you should go somewhere else. Like, I can already tell you, like, I don't even want to help you because I don't have a lot of time, and there's a lot of people requesting free content, right? And that's why it's quite difficult, because paid content, you already have a different relationship, because you obviously have an investment, same as me, put in there. So that's important. All right, let's just go over this real quick. The best funnel builder. At the moment, I use Amazon S3 self-hosted lenders, which is the most advanced setup you can have. It's quite complicated to set up. It took me about half a day, and I had to use a lot of help guides, but it's up and it's very fast. That's why CPA marketers use it. I sent anywhere from 15 to 50,000 clicks a day. These landing pages need to be fast, else I'm losing money. If you're a beginner, you don't need that. If you're making less than $10,000 to $25,000 a month, you don't need that. Use a funnel builder because it's easy and it's fast. If you are able to code, read HTML, write HTML, use Amazon S3. If not, use ClickFunnels. People tell me, can I use Builderall? No. Can I use thrive? No. Why? Because they're not good enough. This is the foundation of your business. This is the software, basically same as the tracking software I recommend. This is the software which is going to make you money. Like if I want to cut down a tree, I'm not going to buy a dull axe for $3. I will buy the premium axe for $10 because it'll only take me 1 hour to cut down a tree instead of 1 week. Do you understand this? This is so crucial to understand. If I want to chop down a tree, I buy a premium axe for $10 because it takes me an hour to chop down the tree. If I buy a dull axe for $3, it takes me a week to chop down the tree. Same with the funnel building software. Same with the tracking software. Funnel building software, ClickFunnels. Download my offer page in the description. Best tracking software for beginners. I personally use Bynum. It's $100 a month. You need a server. Self-hosted is not for beginners. It's like Volume but cheaper. It has unlimited clicks. For beginners, I recommend ClickMagick. It's easy, it's simple, it's cheap. I will leave a link in the description. It's like, I think it starts at $17 a month. Building a business versus solo affiliate. Hang on, we have some questions, right? Let me see. What is a good CTR? Jadir, is that your name? Didn't you fucking listen? Like, I get upset when people ask me this. I just explained that it's all relative to 6 variables. Image, copy, offer, geo, targeting. So if you have that, I can give you an honest answer. If not, you didn't listen and I don't even want to answer your question. All right, Paul is asking, take the money and invest it in yourself. There's no loss if you continue the journey. That's right. The only way you can assure the money is not lost is if you never give up. Basically, it's then continuous investment to growth. And the person who never gives up can never fail. There's always winning in the end. And if you even die with the journey, then you haven't even lost in the end. Important. All right, any offer didn't convert in 24 hours. Should I continue to follow the 3-day rule? Yes. So Chelly is asking about a lot of tools. You don't need any of that shit if you follow the 3-day rule. All right, let's have a talk about building a business versus solo affiliate. So a lot of people work as solo affiliates. They run offers themselves, and basically what you have then is the more you work, the more money you get. That's usually how it works. If you build a business, you have other people following your systems, making you money while you do other stuff. Very big decision you have to take into consideration, because as soon as you scale to probably 100,000 a month, you have the opportunity to hire people to run your campaigns, which is a whole different world because you need to pay them. They can steal all your stuff. And based on that, I would recommend in the beginning to do everything yourself. So conferences, it is really important to attend conferences to get to know like-minded people, to network. As they say, your network is your net worth. You have to find people like you, which you probably won't find in your hometown that easy. Especially if you're looking at CPA marketers, high scale, efficient people. The people who have been where you are right now are willing to share their knowledge. If you show them you can work hard, if you show them you're serious. But if you're going to tell me, I just lost $20 promoting a ClickBank product, I just ban you from the group instantly. If you tell that in my face, I'm just saying like, okay, bro, whatever. Like, I don't care. However, if you have a plan like, oh, I spent 20 out of $100 on ClickBank, I got this many clicks, this was the click-through rate on my lender, and the offer page didn't convert. This was my structure, this was my copy, these were my images, I did this and this and this. Just as you explained, where did I go wrong? If you bring it to me like that, I will spend half an hour to an hour teaching you whatever I know on your topic, because you show me that you are genuinely willing to learn. And you have invested up to a certain amount where you cannot grow anymore by yourself. And learning that, reaching out myself to bigger affiliates, people are definitely willing to help you if you show them you are willing to work hard and just not a freeloader. Because that's what everybody hates, right? Right, more questions. Yeah, we're not going to answer all kinds of simple questions here. All the questions have to be relative to what is saying over here and what we've just discussed. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Kashif, you're the main man. You're the VIP of today. MVP. Right, so got a sore throat. Let me see. So if you go to conferences, you build relationships, relationship with networks. If you tuned in from the beginning, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know that a network just paid me $10,000 as a prepayment, which is very unique. They trust me, they know me. In 1 month, I have a dinner with one of the senior managers of Agentic, which means that they are interested in my business. They want to grow my business with me, which is very interesting. Like, they're probably one of the biggest lead providers in the world. They have opportunities both ways. I can give them leads. I have a big audience right now, and they can give me more growth in my CPA business. Good things come to good people. If you're always honest, there's no black hat way that lives forever. If you want to be an ethical person, white hat is the way to go, or at least a little bit of gray hat, because CPA is always a little bit on the edge. But you need to be honest, you need to be firm, you need to be clear in your communication, and the nourishment of relationships will pay out over time 1,000-fold. Right. The difference between entrepreneur and entrepreneur is that entrepreneurs take immediate action. I just checked like 2 weeks ago, 1,000 people wanted to download the funnel template, but only 60 people did because it cost $19 a month. If you are not willing to invest $19 a month for your business, you're probably just looking to make a quick buck. If you want to make fast money, just go on Upwork and look for a job as a data miner. It pays like $20 an hour. You just do that 24/7. You make $500 a day. Simple. The difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur is the entrepreneurs take action. They do things. They do think a lot, but they also follow up. They implement. And that's something that entrepreneurs never do. They just complain and bitch all they want. All right, let me see. You mentioned that you had a tax payout. Did you send your network invoice for payout? So what happens is, no, I didn't have a tax payout. I had to pay tax myself. So my accountant collects all the invoices. I just send them to like the system we use, and then they calculate quarterly tax, and I have to pay that tax. So I don't collect tax. If you have an option to promote, you cannot promote those offers white hat on Facebook. Simple. Not related to the content here as well. All right, which network is the best? There is no best network. It's very simple. There is no best network. Let me just say it again for all the people not listening. There is no best network. Every network has its own pros and cons. Some people have a lot of sweepstakes. Some people have a lot of Nutra. Some networks have a lot of BizUp. It depends what you're interested in. Everything's different. Like big networks, small networks. There is no favorite network. I always tell, Watch Me Build, about ClickBank, about NextBounty, about Peerfly. Why? Because those are platforms that are often used by beginners. I don't even run in those networks myself. I just use them as an example because a lot of beginners I think my content is valuable for beginners, and that's the way to reach them, use those platforms, because people are searching for that. It's all relative. Right. All right, Gene is asking how to scale campaigns. You should watch the beginning of this video. I discussed it already. All right, shaving of leads, very important. Shaving of leads, that's why you shouldn't run in the United States. That's basically the same thing as here. Shaving of leads is very much active in the United States leads because they use a co-rec. So the higher quality the traffic, the more they pay out. If your quality of the traffic is not good, they don't follow the co-rec, then you get paid less, a lot less. So I run a lot of the United States right now. I have like an insane structure how to not get shaved, and I still get shaved. So and one example, I ran an EPC of 0.28, and the next day it was 0.04. So 4 cents instead of 28 cents. They just shave like 80% of the leads because the quality is not high enough. They are losing money. They're only paying out if they are making money, which is very important to know. And that's why you should not run in the United States. Usually you should not work with private networks, with direct offer owners, if you don't want to get shaved, if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the capabilities That's why I recommend you run through beginner networks, because they are way more beginner friendly. I tell people to focus on tier 1 English speaking countries because it's easy. You don't have to translate. However, if you do translate, you can get insane ROIs in Europe, in Singapore, North Korea, South Africa, Brazil. Especially in Europe, the translation costs are very high. However, countries like Spain, Poland, the conversions to get are so easy. The traffic is so cheap. Only, like, if you speak Spanish, you can try Spain, obviously, but they speak a lot of different Spanish than I think Mexico and stuff. But yeah, good ROIs in Europe because it's less attractive for the majority because you need to translate. So the 3-step agency scale with sweepstakes is what I'm doing right now. So every single time, first I want to make $10 online, then I want to make $100, then I want to make $100 a day, then I want to make $1,000 a day. Now I want to make $10,000 a day consistently. My goal, my target for this year is $100,000 a month. If I follow this method, it would mean I make an average $300,000 a month. The goals grow, the system grows, the effort grows, and you're turning your individual system into an agency. I am now looking for people to hire to run Bing ads, to run Snapchat ads. Like, I only have so much time, so I'm looking for people who can run my system. I know how to run it. I teach them how to run it, and they just work for me and get like X percentage of the profit. That's how agencies work, and that's my end destination for sweepstakes. Then I will, in the end, when I have mastered sweepstakes, and the master level for me is $1 million in revenue, then I will move on to something else or add something else. So the 3-step model is basically where you go from single opt-in to pinned submits to credit card submits. Credit card submits are probably the highest sweepstake level you can get to. They pay anywhere from $10 to $40 per lead. Pinned submits pay anywhere from $2 to $15 per lead, and single opt-in pay anywhere from 10 cents to maybe $6 per lead. Stacking those 3 together will get you a very significant cash flow if you run worldwide. I'm talking probably 10 to 30, maybe even 50,000 a day if you are able to work with all the networks, scale properly, manage an entire agency. So somebody asked in the beginning, angles for sweepstakes. Yeah, you have to figure out your own angles. That's the pure power of a good CPA marketer. They have endless angles. The testing of the copy is in the angles. Like the images, you can just reuse, but the angles, maybe holidays, special celebrations, like those angles, you have to take into consideration. And the power to come up with endless amount of good angles, test endless amount of angles, that's what will make you a millionaire or more, billionaire. All right, somebody's asking, is H3D acceptance progress the same as Max Bounty? No, H3D is a more advanced network. They decline a decent percentage of their applicants. When optimizing, all right, so that's good. You have to, when optimizing, you change one variable at a time. Because if I'm going to change gender and age in the targeting and the ROI goes up, I don't know if it's because of the gender or because of the age range. So you always test one variable. If you want to test multiple variables, you just put them in different ad sets, which is basically running on their own, right? So you can see age, gender, what is the influencing factor, if it's age or if it's gender, or if it's maybe the copy or the image, which will result in the better ROI. All right, cool. Are there any more questions? Good questions related to this content, not because there were a lot of questions in the group I just skipped because they are not related to this content at all. So if you have been linked by me to this content, then I hope you learned a thing or two. If you are watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope this information was valuable. Keep in mind, this is all just my opinion. These are not facts. I tell these things from my own experience and it's not a guarantee for success. I hope, however, you can implement these things. Check out my Facebook group, learn a thing or two on your way to success. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.